Hi, it's Lisa with Artful Fairy Designs, and today we are going to be painting the Mrs. Claus Cookie Company palette ornament. Now the palette ornaments are very different. They're kind of cool. I really love the way they look, and it's really simple to do. Let's just get started. Okay, so every ornament kit that we have, okay, has a picture on the front so that you know, gives you an idea, I guess, of what it should look like or what it could look like. You can obviously do whatever colors that you want, but it just is just a good idea so that you can see what it looks like painted, as well as what parts there are that go together so that you can see how it's laid out. Okay, so here we have all of our parts. Actually, I have a different Mrs. Claus we're going to use. Okay, so this is all in a pop out, so we can pop those out. And here we have, this is our palettes. So all of the palettes have two different parts to them. They have the back piece and then these pieces here, which will go there to make it look like a palette. Okay, and they usually have words on them, but so they would go in between these two mark lines right there. Okay, just to give you an idea of where those would go. So here are all the pieces that go with her. This is a pop out form that you can do. Okay, so you're going to just pop out all the little pieces. If you have trouble popping them out, I use this because I have a tool, but you can always use a tool to pop them out. There we go. Sometimes some little pieces just get stuck in there, especially the smaller ones. They can kind of get stuck. So you're going to pop out all your pieces, and then you're going to put them on there so that you can see where they go in relation to the picture. Okay, we don't need this. We can get rid of that. All right. Okay, so here we have Mrs. Claus, her cookie company. Here she is. She goes here. There's score lines. That's what these are for. So you don't have to paint that. That's where you can tell that's where she's going to go, right? And then she's got hair. We'll put there. And if you should see, sometimes there's just a little bit of the piece of wood that's out. That's from the connection to the wood, and that's why you can pop it out because it's just a tiny little piece. If it bothers you, you can just take a little sandpaper and sand that down. Okay, so let's just do a quick, this is all her pieces, just to make sure we have everything, and it goes where it's supposed to go, and we know what's what. Okay, put that there, and oh, why she has that, I don't have that on her. Okay. All right, and that's just sort of like a quick rundown. I don't know where this piece goes. Like it's not in the picture, and I'm not sure it goes to her. And then this is her nose. Okay, so that's quick and easy. We just know what pieces we have. Perfect. You always want to start with your back pieces first, as far as making sure you cover this all up. Okay, I've got my paint colors already, and I'm just going to follow along so that it'll look like this one. As I said, each one has a picture, right, so that you can be guided by that. Here's another one of our kits. That one's the snowman, but you can see he has his picture on there, and that'll show you exactly what it should look like when you're done. Again, different colors, however you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to first start with some green. And when you're painting, and we don't have to worry about these lines, you can use a paintbrush. I prefer to use a sponge. And because this is a big section, I'm just going to paint the whole thing. I'm not going to dab it. I'm just going to paint it. The reason that it helps to use less paint and to dab and instead of like use a paintbrush or whatever is so you don't get as much paint on the inside. It just makes for a neater ornament or neater painting anyways. Okay, so we're just going to do that, get that all covered. All right, and I'll list the colors that I have. This green one came from somewhere else, and then I had it specially made at like Lowe's. So just that one there, I can't tell you the exact color. Okay, so then we're just going to take her apart, and I'm just going to paint her. So I'm just going to paint her body. Okay, so to paint this, I'm going to make sure I stay here and notice that when I'm doing this, I'm putting a little bit on dabbing some of it off and then just coming around. Now the collar is going to be right there, and these are the score marks, so we don't have to worry about avoiding those. We can just go ahead and go right over that. Okay, right, so that's easy enough. These are sponges. These are makeup sponges. I buy them at Dollar Tree. You can get them at Target. They work great. They're quick and easy. I prefer them over paintbrushes, especially for doing ornaments. Okay, so here we have, this is an engraved, her eyes are engraved, and then we have a scored mouth. Now you don't want to put too much paint on there because you don't want to fill that in. So I've got the natural skin paint here. Just going to dab a lot of that off. Not even some, just a lot. Okay, there's very little on there. And I'm just going to dab around. Less paint is always better when it comes to doing most painting crafts. Okay, let me just get that on there. Her hair is going to be white. The glasses will go on top of that. Now, since the collar is going to be here, I'm not going to worry too much about coming over that. But since I have to paint her hair white, I don't want to make that blend in too much. So we're just going to do that there. Okay, so her face is done. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of white. Again, these are score marks. And we're just going to lightly fill those in. I'm going to watch what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Okay, so we're going to lightly fill those in. If you find that you'd like these a little bit more defined, maybe you got a little bit of paint in there more than you thought you were going to, just take a toothpick and just go right in there and you just scrape that right out. And of course you want to do that while the paint is wet. As soon as you can, that'll make it work better. Okay, so that'll help on there. All right, and then her face is done and that is done. Let's see, this is also green. So we're going to find my green. Okay, again, this is scored and I don't want it to be covered up by the paint. I'm going to do a very light coat. Get that in there. This is really very easy and it's a lot of fun, and you know there's never a rush. I do find sometimes in some of the classes everybody is so used to getting everything done that they forget to relax and enjoy. So that's what painting is. Even if you've never really painted before, if it's not your favorite thing, you know what, it's okay. Just take your time. That's what it's for. Just take your time, relax, and paint. There's no right or wrong, and if it's not your thing, you know, but you want to do it, then you do the best you can. There we go. And yeah, you just do the best you can, and you know what, it's something that you made and it's going to be perfectly fine. Okay, so we've got those two done, which these will go here. Oops, sorry. These will go here and here. Okay, we'll glue those down later. Okay, her face is done, her head is done. Okay, this is the part of her not a hat, it's like a headband on her. Okay, so we use a little bit of red. And here's a tip. If you have a lot of small pieces, what you can do is take a piece of painter's tape or any kind of masking tape, put it down sticky side up, and then the ends that are sticky, fold those under so they stick to the table or your surface, and then you can just put these right on there and they won't move and you won't have to hold them, and then it's much easier to dab them on and dab the paint on there and do that. So that's just a little hint for you. What else we have? We have a little red heart. And we have a red collar. Now the white part underneath, I'm going to use a paint pen. So you don't have to use this. I mean, if you have paint pens, you know, whatever you want to use. And if you have kids, if you want them to use either paint markers or crayons or whatever, you know, they don't have to use paint. Okay, so that's going to be red. The heart is red. I forgot the little button is green. So I'm going to paint the little button green. Oops, I could use more there. We can use more on that because it's not nothing there. If you get paint on the sides and it bothers you, sometimes it does, because you know, if you have a lot of paint, it does get messy. Like I just got some on the sides here. Once it dries, if you just take a black marker, you can just run that right along the outside, and then you can go ahead and just put that back on there. All right, her nose is kind of tiny, really tiny. Like I wish I had put it on the sticky stuff tiny. Okay, but that's okay. Did I get it all? I think I missed it. I can't tell what I'm saying. Okay. There we go. Now we got her. Okay, so that's her nose. Her glasses, we're going to make those red too. She'd be really cute, different colors. I've only painted her this green and red, and I like it, so I just keep painting them that color. But I'd love to see different colors on her because I think it would be adorable to see her in different things. And then all we have left is her hair. And do I have, this is white, okay. All we have left is her hair, again, because there are score lines right here. Okay, we want to make sure that we go very lightly so that we don't fill those in. Okay. All right. I'm going to go over my pieces a second time and then we'll come back and put her together. Okay, so now we're back. Everything is painted. I've added some extra coats and now we're ready to put her together. So if there's anything you want to do, so for example, I painted these little dots here. It's always easier to do them before you put everything together. You can do it after the fact, but sometimes it's a little bit trickier. So we're just going to try to make some little dots. You can make little dots. I've also spattered this, which I won't do in this video, but I've also spattered it, which is, I just basically took an old toothbrush, dipped it in some white paint, and then just kind of spattered her. So I'm going to get my, let me get my brush to work here. Okay, and then these are really cute and easy. You can make single dots. You could make, like I did, the triple dots, you know, however you want to do it. And so this is up here. So I know that I want to keep it over here. Can you see that? Okay, so all I'm doing is just going dot, dot, dot. Those are my favorite. And then just reverse it a little so you can put it the other direction. Okay, so that's really easy. And I'll just finish doing some of that. Oops, I messed that one up. Sorry, I'm trying to look at what I'm doing. There we go. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep, and then do 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, kind of a thing. There, just a few. Just to give it a little bit of something. I like a little bit of something on my ornaments. And we're going to cover that up so we won't see that. Okay, we'll do one more over here. I guess one more over here. You can go crazy once you get the dot, once you get dotting. So, hold on. There we go. Got to fill in all that space. Okay, so that's perfect. That's done. We've added a little bit of something. I do notice that the green here is different than this green that I'm using, so I will let you know what this green is and put that in the comments. So I use an Aleene's tacky glue. You can use any kind of glue. I prefer Aleene's because it's thick and it doesn't dry really, really quickly, like super glue would dry. So it gives me time to move things around if I want to. So I just put a thin coat on it like that, like you would glue anything else. And just make sure you get that right in between the two sides there. And then I'm going to put Mrs. Claus in next and then put this down after, just because, I mean, luckily you have some give and take on here. So if you didn't, if you made these two close together, you could still move them apart to stick her in between, but I'm going to put her down first and then I'll put the sign underneath her. So, all right. This is an easy project for kids to do. There are a lot of little pieces to this, but it doesn't mean that, you know, they wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so we're going to put her in, and thankfully the score marks are there for a reason to help you figure out where everything goes. And then I'm going to put the cookie company underneath that. And all the palette ornaments are all the same as far as, you know, how you put them together. It's just a different, you know, like character, like Mrs. Claus, like the other one, which is a snowman. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Okay. We have that on there. And then I'm going to put her nose on next. And there's not really any specific way you need to put these on. This is just how I'm choosing to do this part, but the top part, not really. Although I am going to put her glasses on next because we've got to put her hair on too. And they kind of fit together. I got too much glue on there. Okay, so I'm going to put her glasses on. They're so tiny. Try to get them on there. Okay, so now her glasses are on. Now let's get her hair on next because we want to make sure that fits in. Like I say, this is a great thing about Aleene's tacky glue. You could use a wood glue too. It doesn't dry super, super, super fast. There is some, why don't you get in there? There we go. There is some super glue. It's gel. I buy that at Dollar Tree. And that has a little bit, maybe 5 seconds or more of time before it is set. So that's actually kind of nice to use when you're really not sure, you know, if you think you might want to move stuff. So, all right, we're almost done. And this didn't really take very long at all. Now you can take as much time as you want. Like you say, this is something relaxing. So relax, enjoy, and you know, this is fun. You know, if you did this with a group of girls, if your kids do it, we've had church groups do it. They're a lot of fun to do. A lot of people love to paint, and they especially love to make ornaments. You know, something that they can use, hang on a tree. And you can find them on our website on theartfulfairy.com. We have a whole bunch of them up there that you can purchase for the holidays or anytime. Anytime. You never know when you feel like painting. Sometimes it's a fun thing to do. Other times of the year. Okay, here is one of those little things I was telling you about. This is what connected it to the wood. And hold on. Sorry, I don't usually like to do an informational video and then walk away from what I'm doing. Okay, so there's the little knob thing there. Of course, it's going to bug me, so I'm just going to take my little sander and just sand that down. There we go. All right, so we're going to put that there. If it was pressing up against something, that'd be okay, but it's kind of going to stick out there with her neck there, so. Okay, so there's that, and all we need is her little heart, and then we are good to go. So that was really simple and easy. It was a lot of fun. They're very simple to put together. And then you could also embellish. As you see, I did a little bit of white over here, which I can do on this one. And then you could also spatter if you wanted to. I'm just going to put a little bit of white. Because she has so many different colors, like the white, like there isn't much you can put on there, but I'm going to put a little bit, just some white at the top. And we already have the white down here. And a paint pen works great for getting into that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of something right there. Okay, and that's how we do our Mrs. Claus Cookie Company palette ornament. Stay tuned for more different ornaments that I have. I'm going to post pictures and videos of all the kits we have so that you can see how to do them. Be sure to like and share, and please follow for more. We also, I also do blanket information on how to make blankets by using the chunky yarn and finger knitting that. So there is Mrs. Claus looking as cute as can be. And thanks so much for watching.